It's time to dissect Keir Starmer's claim, which comes on the back of yesterday's news that the greatest number of people crossed the Channel since 2018. Yvette Cooper, who's in charge of the Home Office, says that numbers, promises, criticisms make a fascinating analysis because they have, the Labour Party has deported more people in the time it's been in office since the beginning of 2019. Since Labour's election, nearly 13,500 migrants have been deported. That's apparently a 5-year high. Notably, this includes 3,690 enforced returns of individuals with no legal right to remain and approximately 9,770 voluntary returns, some of whom were foreign national offenders. Yet critics argue that these figures represent quantity over quality, with concerns about the efficiency and humanity of these measures. And on the arrivals side, more than 21,000 migrants crossed the Channel in small boats during this same period, part of the 34,500 arrivals overall this year. With these numbers, the scale of the issue is underscored, and they highlight the difficulty of Labour's pledge to deport more people than any previous 6-month period since 2018. Labour is banking on technology to tighten enforcement. New body-worn cameras, fingerprint kits with 1,200 immigration officers using these new bits of kit, which is expected to improve evidence gathering during raids. Meanwhile, a proactive upstream communications campaign aims to debunk the myths peddled by smuggling gangs that offer false promises of jobs and opportunities in the UK, providing you can get here. This campaign builds on real testimonies of exploitative working conditions to persuade potential migrants from taking these perilous journeys. Labour's intensified focus on illegal working aims to target the hidden economy, and Cooper has framed this as an issue not only of border control but also of economic fairness, arguing that illegal workers undercut lawful employers while enriching smuggling gangs. However, enforcing these rules is a Herculean task requiring robust operations and political will. And of course, the conspiracy surrounding illegal workers is that the people who are employing them don't pay tax, and nor do the workers pay tax. Opposition voices, including the Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp, argue that Labour's measures fail to deliver meaningful control over borders. Well, nor did the previous Conservative administration, because it was too focused on Rwanda. And this is about the Home Office beginning to do its job. If this is the direction it's going, this is a positive. The previous government tried to get these numbers up by focusing on students. Students are people with a lot of paperwork. They're very evident, they're very visible, and sometimes their paperwork is erroneous precisely because they're students and they're young and they've made a mistake. To deport these people is an easy statistical gain because it gives the impression that people are going out of the country with the knowledge that they will come back with their tail between their legs and still pay. It's a win-win on all sides except for the students, which it seems a vicious and a nasty way to score a point. And it's something that was particularly peddled by Theresa May. I remember talking to her about it, and I talked to Andrea Leadsom about it, and neither of them was really prepared to listen, and neither of them was really prepared to act. This was, as I say, an easy score and the only score the Conservative Party delivered. If Labour is genuinely finding people who are here and working illegally, well, that's a positive. The Conservatives highlight the small boat returns amount to under 5% of arrivals in the first 3 months of Labour's tenure. Well, that's because the Home Office isn't processing people. And furthermore, the continued reliance on hotel accommodation, with numbers rising by 6,000 since July, has undermined Labour's vow to end this practice. You can't end the practice of the hotel accommodation until you get the Home Office to actually start doing the work that it's supposed to do. If that work is beyond the present Home Office, then you need new civil servants to come in and start doing that work. Campaigners warn that deportation at this scale risks human rights violations, and the use of large-scale return flights and deportation and detention raises questions about whether these policies are driven by optics rather than ethics. That's also true. Labour's strategy isn't confined to domestic policy. Yvette Cooper's recent meeting in Rome with her Italian counterpart Matteo Piantedosi signals a commitment to tackle migration at its European source, and joint initiatives on smuggling and irregular migration were discussed, underscoring the transnational nature of the challenge. Labour's policies walk a tightrope between pragmatism and populism, and while the record number of deportations reflects Labour's intention to appear tough on immigration, critics would argue that arrivals still outstrip returns, leaving the broader system under strain. Moreover, the focus on illegal working raises valid economic concerns but risks alienating Labour's progressive base. Actually, if one looks at the figures, one needs many of these people who are working illegally, but one needs them to pay tax. And in the coming months, so that we have an increase in taxpayers that is going to support the ageing population. In the coming months, the rollout of new enforcement technologies and the upstream campaign will test whether Labour's plans deliver substance or merely sound bites. I suspect the latter. The government's ability to navigate this contentious issue will shape not only its domestic credibility but also its place on the international stage.